Not too bad.
This is a ruthless bunch.
Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I'm Jan Grimes, acting director of this marvelous museum and director of its parent organization, the Illinois Historic Preservation Agency. Our agency includes 13 Lincoln-related sites, including Lincoln's New Salem, the Lincoln Log Cabin, Lincoln's Tomb, Lincoln's Law Office, and the Old State Capitol, where Lincoln gave his House Divided speech and also formed his cabinet, his team of rivals. Our staff and our partners at the Illinois Bicentennial Commission contributed to a very successful year of bicentennial activities, and those included the unveiling of Illinois' bicentennial penny, a penny that depicts Lincoln in front of our old state capitol. As a matter of fact, right in the center of this museum plaza, we placed a Lincoln penny. The story varies on how it got there, who made that decision, but let's just say Lincoln and the penny are in our hearts and minds. So we're thrilled and honored today to be hosting the unveiling of the newest bicentennial penny. With that, I'd like to introduce an award-winning reporter and anchor of the WICS Channel 20 News, who will serve as our Master of Ceremonies today, Elizabeth Woolley.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for being here today on this historic event. I'd like to see all the faces back here in the back. I know you're waiting out in the cold. Yep, I see you back there. Thanks for being here today for this historic reveal. Isn't it just fitting that we are here in this wonderful masterpiece that is the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum for today's big penny reveal? Our great leader, Abraham Lincoln, and now you get to be part of this historic event. It is an honor to be here with you today. And at this time, I would like to introduce James Cornelius. Mr. Cornelius is the Abraham Collection Curator for the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Museum. A native of Minneapolis, Mr. Cornelius worked at the U of I Library's Illinois Historic Books and Relics for the Collection, speaks to private and public gatherings, helps to organize and write museum exhibits, and arranges to lend artifacts to other museums. I'll let him tell you why he feels that his is the very best job in the country. Ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, please help me welcome Mr. James Cornelius.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Director Moy, Director Grimes, distinguished guests. These remarks are printed in the programs handed out today, although what I'm going to say is a little bit more extensive than what would fit into the program. Among the many pieces of information and
Mr. Moy leads the world's largest manufacturer of coins, metals, and numismatic products. In fiscal year 2008, the United States Mint manufactured and shipped almost 10 billion circulating coins, generating revenue of $2.8 billion and contributed $750 million in earnings to the United States Treasury. Prior to becoming director, Mr. Moy was a special assistant to the President for Presidential Personnel at the White House. He was responsible for recommending to President George W. Bush candidates for the most senior of political appointments for 11 cabinet departments and cabinet rank agencies in the human services, natural resources, legal, and national security arenas. And if that wasn't enough, additionally, he was responsible for senior political appointments for 32 independent federal agencies. The wide array of agencies included the Social Security Administration, Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, National Labor Relations Board, and the National Endowment for the Arts. He served on the panel responsible for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security transition, and prior to his current public service, Mr. Moy spent 8 years working with venture capital firms and entrepreneurs, including the Wall Street private equity firm Welch, Carson, Anderson & Stowe, and served on the boards of several companies and nonprofit organizations. From 1989 to 1993, he served President George Herbert Walker Bush as a political appointee at the Federal Health Care Financing Administration at the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. As the director of the Office of Managed Care, he was responsible for regulating health maintenance organizations, formulating our nation's managed care policy, and overseeing $7 billion in annual expenditures to Medicare and Medicaid managed health care programs. From 1979 to 1989, he was a sales and marketing executive for Blue Cross Blue Shield United of Wisconsin. He graduated from the University of Wisconsin in 1979 with a triple major in economics, international relations, and political science. Mr. Moy currently serves on the board of directors of the Tau Kappa Epsilon Teak Fraternity, Christianity Today International, and the Christianity Today Foundation. Let us all give a warm welcome and round of applause for Director Moy.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. That was quite the introduction. And, I typically have thought, oh gosh, people have been doing nice things and saying great things about me since I became Mint Director. I wonder why. And my wife, who keeps my feet grounded, said, you blockhead, don't let your ego get the best of you. They all want a free sample. That's why they're saying all these good things about you. So, Elizabeth, after the ceremony, I'm going to give you a couple free samples of our new penny. Now, I see a lot of familiar faces out there. I'm going to do just the 50th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. It was changed to the Lincoln Memorial. Then for 2009, Congress wanted us to put out the 4 bicentennial pinion. There's a horizontal bar across the top of the shield, and that represents the federal government uniting the 13 states. And to emphasize the point of the preservation of the Union, we put E Pluribus Unum on that horizontal bar. The shield dates back to the 1780s, and it's also featured on frescoes in the U.S. Capitol by Constantino Brumidi, who was the artist of the Capitol during Lincoln's presidency. So when you visit the Capitol and look at the murals that Brumidi painted all over the Capitol, you'll see this Union shield many, many times. In order for us to make this, Congress had to authorize it. And so we're very pleased to have several people here representing various members of Congress. And first of all, I want Ann Doherty to raise her hand. She represents Senator Dick Durbin. We also have Carol Mena and Judy Hines from the Springfield office of Aaron Schock. Raise your hand. And we also have Jasmine Hasty from Senator Burris's office. So thank you very much for coming. And before you applause, I want you to know that the primary driver behind this, he's a Lincoln historian, but he loves his state, is Senator Dick Durbin. He was a primary sponsor, and without his lead work, we would not be here celebrating this new penny. So I'd like you to give the representatives of your members of Congress a big round of applause for making this day possible.